When you watch an animated movie, you are willingly falling for a trick. Every piece of motion you see on screen is an illusion created by the rapid display of individual, entirely static frames. To successfully fool the human eye into perceiving fluid movement, a screen has to display anywhere from 24 to 60 separate, complete frames for every single second of video. Look at the artist in this photograph. For decades, the industry standard was traditional animation, meaning highly skilled workers like this man had to sit at a drafting table and physically draw every single one of those frames by hand. You can see the result in this row of individual Popeye cells. This frame-by-frame method gave artists total control over their characters, but producing thousands of sequential drawings for a single scene required a massive, repetitive investment of manual labor. Modern studios face a difficult mathematical problem. A 90-minute 3D feature film requires over 120,000 frames. How do they produce that volume of animation today without spending decades rendering it all manually? The answer is keyframe animation, and it is the foundation of almost all modern computer graphics and digital character work. The core operational difference here is that a human animator no longer has to specify the exact position of a character on every single frame of a shot. Keyframing removes the requirement for an artist to render every micro-adjustment, transforming animation into a division of labor where the human directs the performance, while the computer processes the thousands of drawings required for fluid motion. Building a shot in this system follows a specific 4-step pipeline. Step 1 is the storyboard. As you can see in this grid, a storyboard acts like a comic strip blueprint for the film. It maps out the basic ideas for motion, like these characters racing a peanut butter jar, long before anyone commits to the technical work of animating them. Step 2 is object definition. Before a digital character can move across a screen, it has to be constructed within the software. This vintage IBM monitor shows how that works. A digital object is defined using mathematical shapes, like polygons or splines, allowing an artist to manipulate a geometric wireframe mesh into a recognizable form. Once the story is mapped on paper and the digital clay is modeled in the computer, the asset is finally ready for the animator to inject motion. That brings us to Step 3, keyframe specification. A keyframe is a specific marker where an object changes its size, direction, shape, or position. In this diagram of a bouncing ball, the human animator only dictates the extreme poses. They define the exact top of the ball's arc and the exact moment it squashes against the floor. That is all they pose manually. Now watch what happens for Step 4. The machine takes over and instantly generates all the intermediate frames between those two extremes. This mathematical process is called interpolation. The computer calculates the exact spatial distance between the two keyframes and creates the smooth, continuous movement bridging them together. The computer can adjust these in-betweening algorithms to respect real-world physics. If you look at the tick marks on the right side of this image, you can see how manipulating the mathematical spacing of frames creates natural momentum, like a slow-in or slow-out effect. Automating these thousands of micro-movements makes feature-length 3D production logistically viable, turning a workload that would take a single artist's lifetimes into a project that can be completed in a few years. To understand why this matters, we must look at the other ends of the technical spectrum. On one side is procedural animation, where algorithms generate chaotic motion, like fire or crashing waves, entirely on their own, without manual frames from an artist. On the other side is motion capture. Sensors on these actors' black suits record human movement directly, mapping it straight onto a digital character. Procedural handles repetitive physics well, and motion capture excels at realism. But neither method allows an artist to intentionally exaggerate a pose or hold a beat for comedic timing, as stylized character acting requires. Keyframing remains the gold standard because it sits perfectly in the middle ground between human intention and machine calculation. The human artist retains absolute creative control over the critical moments of storytelling, while the computer executes the tedious computational labor connecting them. This stylized leap is the final result of that partnership, a performance where human creative intent is executed through the mathematical precision of an algorithm.